I'd like to welcome you all to the first of what I hope will be many such videos in the months to come. You see, I enjoy contrasting and comparing different aspects of books and authors because it helps highlight what I love about them. At the same time, I also enjoy praising work and authors for their exceptional qualities. And for the longest time, I wanted a way to do that regularly here on the channel. Well, I thought about it and I finally came up with a perfect solution. Once a week, I will take all the books I read in the previous month and choose which of those did a specific aspect the best out of all of them. This week we're choosing the best character I read in the last month. Next week it'll be the best scene, and the week after that it'll be the best book overall, and finally we'll have the best author. Then we repeat the same cycle in the next month for the books I read this month. Think of it almost as a small, long-running award series to highlight the best of what I've read throughout the year. I hope you'll enjoy watching as much as I enjoy making it. And before we begin, I'd like to make one thing clear. This is all personal preference. I'm not trying to pick the objectively better book, or character, or scene, or author, or whatever. It's all subjective. These picks are what I enjoyed most, and is purely based on my own personal enjoyment factor. I'm not trying to say any book is objectively better than another. You're allowed to disagree with me and you're allowed to think that I'm completely wrong on all my picks. We can have differing opinions. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, let's get right into our first candidate for the best character I read last month. Geralt of Rivia. I started reading the Witcher saga late last year, but only finished it in January of this year. For any of you who have read the series, you'll know that the Geralt we see in the games is completely different from the Geralt we see in the books. Geralt is a Witcher, a human altered with mutations and elixirs to be the ultimate monster slayer. If your local town has a problem with some creepy things that go bump in the night, Geralt would be happy to take care of it for you, for a price of course. And in a world filled with monsters that could tear your face off at any moment, his services are sorely needed. Well, at least they used to be. Geralt finds himself as part of a dying breed. The need for witches has severely died down in the last few centuries as more of the creatures have been killed off or have learned to avoid hubs of human population. And while a witcher is expensive, a band of foolhardy knights or brigands are sometimes able and willing to do the same work for a much lower fee. This leaves our man, Geralt, in an odd situation. He feels less and less like the witcher he's always been. He finds himself more and more drawn into the affairs of people and common folk, a situation expressly discouraged for any witches in training. As he becomes more entwined with other people, he finds himself wanting different things in life. He wants to settle down with Yennefer, the woman he loves. He wants to protect Ciri, the girl he considers his adoptive daughter. He wants to give up the life of fighting and killing and wants finally to be happy and rest. But things rarely go that smoothly. Geralt is a man full of conflictions and internal struggles. He's also a killing machine trained to wield a sword like an extension of himself. It's a compelling mixture that I've thoroughly enjoyed reading. Kaladin Stormblessed. Similar to the Witcher saga, I started reading the Stormlight Archive late last year and finished it last month, or at least caught up to the latest book that's been published. It's an awesome series with great characters, epic magic, and an overall amazing plot. Brandon Sanderson is often known for how well he writes his magic and his characters, so there's absolutely some good candidates in this series. And few characters that Brandon Sanderson has ever written has gripped me more and had me more on the edge of my seat than Kaladin Stormblessed. Kaladin is a whirlwind made flesh, masterful with a spear and incredibly protective over those he cares about. Kaladin is the son of a surgeon and was taught the importance of preserving and protecting life at all times. His father taught him that one cannot kill to protect, and he urged his son to be as much a pacifist as he is. On the other hand, Kaladin is the perfect warrior, and wields his spear with skill few could ever hope to match. And not only that, but he enjoys it. He loves the thrill of the battle. This conflict within himself makes him an incredibly compelling character. How does one reconcile the need to protect with the love of battle? Kaladin must navigate this tricky situation whilst also keeping those closest to him safe. And that's another aspect to Kaladin. He has this obsession with protecting others, And you'll learn why once you finish the first book, but his compulsion to protect means that he has to learn to fight, but at the same time he's being a danger to others and has to fight them, which is in direct contrast to the lessons he was taught as an apprentice to his surgeon father. Take all of that complexity and link it to a deep and crippling depression he has to fight on a daily basis, and you get Kaladin. An incredibly deep and complex character, but also a badass warrior who can go toe to toe with the best of them. I really enjoy Kaladin, and you'll likely see a deeper character study on him from me next week, so look forward to that. In fact, I'll probably end up doing a character study video on all the characters I talk about in this video eventually, so stay tuned. Ciri of Cintra. Cirilla Fiona Ellen Rhiannon, the Witcher Girl, Zirael, child of the Elder Blood, the lion cub of Cintra and descendant of Lara Dorren. Ciri goes by many names and titles, which is quite fitting once you learn about her unique abilities. She's the granddaughter of Queen Calanthe of Cintra, also known as the Lioness, and is the adoptive daughter of Geralt and Yennefer. Having been trained in Kaer Morhen, the Witcher stronghold, she's as capable with a sword as most witches. In addition to that, she's also the bearer of the Elder Blood, a genetic trait that makes one an incredibly powerful magical source and a prophet capable of seeing glimpses of the future. Long before her birth, she was prophesied to one day give birth to the one who would remake the world and rule it. Because of this, she has been hunted and sought after by some of the most powerful men in the known world. Unfortunately for them, Ciri was bound to Geralt by destiny, and that means anyone who wants to get to her has to deal with Geralt. That doesn't mean she's helpless, however. Ciri is an incredibly accomplished fighter and possibly even comparable to Geralt at times. Now, I have to say that this pick is purely because of how awesomely cool Ciri is. Whenever she's in a scene, you get this feeling in the pit of your stomach of impending danger. She's like a viper, coiled and ready to strike at all times. Almost anyone that approaches her is basically always at her mercy, even if they don't know it yet. Now, Geralt is definitely stronger than her, but you always get this feeling of reluctance when he steps into a fight. He fights because he has to, and while that makes for awesome scenes when he finally does jump into the fight, Ciri usually fights because she wants to. She sometimes even strikes me as eager to shed blood, but not out of malice or anything. Usually it's out of retaliation for all the wrongs she's suffered in her life. That feeling of danger and power, along with the strong and fiery personality of Ciri, makes for a character that rates an 11 out of 10 on the badass scale. Dalinar Kholin, the Blackthorn, a retired but renowned warlord who helped unite his kingdom with his brother Gavilar. After Gavilar's death, Dalinar starts to question his life and his actions. He sees the lack of honor in how he was acting and begins to work on becoming a better man than he once was. Unlike the previous three characters, who are all warriors in their prime, Dalinar is a warrior past his prime. He once commanded fear on the battlefield, but now he's looked upon as an old relic of a forgotten time. Often he's seen as weak or no longer capable of wearing the mantle as Alethkar's greatest warrior and general. And I think that's what really draws me to Dalinar. We don't often get to see the other side of a warrior's life. Often all we see is the rise and the climax, but rarely do we get shown the lull that comes in their later years. But with Dalinar, we get to experience that. With Dalinar, we get to see the life after the battles. We get to see a man having to relearn everything he once knew about leadership. We see a man having to learn how to go from being a warrior that destroyed and divided to a diplomat who united and healed. It's a very interesting side to a character building I haven't encountered much, and I find it a breath of fresh air in what could otherwise be a stale environment at times. But that's not all. Dalinar also single-handedly has one of the absolute best character arcs I've seen in a very long time. Once you get to know more about Dalinar's life and backstory in the third Stormlight Archive book, and then compare it to the man he is now, and the journey he took to get where he is, you're kind of just left at a loss for words. Dalinar is what happens when a man not only learns from his mistakes, but rises above and makes himself become a better man for having gone through what he did. Each time he gets knocked down, he rises again, stronger and better, ready to take on the challenge that's before him. He's an absolute gem of a character, and while I want to do a character study on him, I highly doubt I could even do his arc justice within the confines of a video. So we've established our 4 candidates for Character of the Month. Of these 4, we have to pick the best one. But how? I don't think I could just choose from these 4, so it would have to be by process of elimination. And if I had to pick the one to be eliminated, sorry to say, but it would be Ciri. She's an awesome character, but I don't think she compares to the others when it comes to depth of character. I love her chapters and all the scenes she's in, but when compared to the other 3 on this list, I have to make the appropriate call and say she doesn't quite make the cut. With 1 down and 3 to go, we're on to the next elimination. This hurts to say, but I have to be honest with myself here. While he's an awesome character, I have to eliminate Kaladin. Don't get me wrong, were he compared to most other fantasy protagonists out there, he'd win hands down. But compared to the other 2, they just about outrank him in this aspect. So I'll have to say that Kaladin is, unfortunately, our second elimination. That leaves us with 2. Geralt of Rivia and Dalinar Kholin, the powerful yet conflicted Witcher, and the retired but still strong General. Choosing a winner from amongst these 2 is not easy, and if I could have both be the winner, I would, but that's not how life works, unfortunately. So I'll have to make the call. The winner and Character of the Month for January 2021 is... Dalinar Kholin. Yes, the old general with a heart of gold and incredible character arc wins the day. Sorry Geralt, you're an awesome character and you'll probably go down through history as one of my favorite characters of all time, but I have to give this win to Dalinar. Dalinar is such an amazing character and such a symbol for what good character work should be that I can't justify not giving this award to him. Dalinar Kholin from the Stormlight Archive is January's Character of the Month without a doubt. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is very much just a chance for me to just gush about my favorite characters and other aspects of fantasy, so I hope you liked it. And if you disagree with me, I wholeheartedly encourage you to let me know in the comments. Who would you have picked as Character of the Month? Or do you think I chose the right one? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. I've upped my upload schedule to 3 videos a week, so be prepared for a lot more fantasy related content coming your way. Anyway, that's been me for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.